In this tutorial, we'll go over how to record yearling data. As you can see, we have already logged into our account and landed here on the home page. We'll go over to the far left toolbar under My Account, hit View, and we'll go over to our females that we have weaned. And we see these animals that fit within the age range for yearling have a box. We click that box to queue those animals into our yearling work queue. After that, we move over to our work queues and select yearling. Any work queues that you might not have finished will stay here in the yearling queue. We can go to this queue that we've just created, and as you can see, the contemporary groups of these animals are broken down also by sex. It is already pre-populated the registration number, names, prefixes, and sex of all these animals, as well as the pasture that they are residing in. We can tab over, select today's date from our yearling date, and that will pre-populate all of the dates for all the cattle in this queue. We can enter a weight, another temper score, height. Being female, it skips over a scrotal measure since we can't record that on her. Pelvic height, width, and height can be recorded. Again, we can move her from whatever pasture she might have been in to another pasture if we're moving to a breeding pasture for these females. Management code if that is different. Keep tabbing over to the feed code. Several different options here. Been supplementing our heifers, so we'll select pasture and roughage with supplement. Status, we can keep her in the herd or give her a reason that she is no longer in the herd. She's still active. We're going to breed her to calve in the spring. It already populates the spring calving season, since that is when she'll be 2 years old. As we switch contemporary groups from females to bulls, we can see again we can mark this bull as castrated or as staying a bull, and continue to move those over. Weight, temperament, height, scrotal, pelvic measurements. Scrotal will already give you a spot to hit. We can also take pelvic measurements on our bulls. Supplementation. We have high energy and low energy ration, potential fitted, and bull test, and other. Now that all our data is entered, we can go down here and click Validate. This will check our data to make sure we've not made any typographical errors and everything fits. So we can see we have an error here. Errors will always show up on the left side under error descriptors. They are also highlighted in red. You see the error is here. As we go down to error descriptors, 6B out of range. D weights must be wean weight 1 plus 30 to 2,200 pounds. So we go up here, mistyped his yearling weight, move over. Go back down, revalidate the data. As we can see, we have no errors left. You can commit some of this data to the registry, but if they're outside of the yearling range, it will warn you, and those will show up as yellow. If your measurements are outside 1,500 pounds, it will warn you that typically is not the case. And hip height, if they're too tall or too short, it will warn you that as well as valid measurements for scrotal circumference. The data will be accepted, but it is just warning you in case you might have had a typographical error. And then we can commit it to registry. If at any time you try to move from this page as you're entering the data, the system will warn you that you're going to lose the data before you lose it. As long as you have validated, that data stays in the queue and in the system. Once you've committed the data to the system, a report will come up similar to our birth and weaning reports, showing you ranks, data, all the weight per day of ages, average daily gains, ratios adjusted, the contemporary group that these animals fit in. Here we can see all our yearling data, frame scores on our animals, pelvic measurements if we had entered those, our adjusted scrotals to a year. We can also generate a yearling summary that will give us a PDF version of that data. If you move from this page and would still like this yearling summary, you can always find it under reports.